Look, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I audit an account that is currently facing the misrepresentation error in the Merchant Center. I will show you exactly what kind of settings I would apply in the Merchant Center as well as on the Shopify side to solve the misrepresentation error. Alright, real quickly explained, what is the misrepresentation error in the first place? It's either you have something or you don't have something on your website that shouldn't be there in the eyes of Google Merchant Center, the algorithm, or an employee. So you're facing the misrepresentation error because simply on your current website is something that we need to fix. I will walk you through all the key elements you need to know in order to fix the misrepresentation error. So by the end of this video, you know exactly what to focus on and how to fix it in your account. So this is the website we are going to look at today. They're currently facing the misrepresentation error. You see, they haven't been live in their Merchant Center at all. When I go here to account issues, you see straight away that this is a misrepresentation error right here in the United States. They already requested a bunch of reviews, but the Merchant Center employees still found something that is causing the misrepresentation error. So let's have a look together how we could potentially see the errors and fix them together. So this is the website we are talking about today. It's like Nosa Green. They're selling like interior items in the United States as well. So what you can see right here is a pretty nice design website, but we still need to identify what is causing the misrepresentation error. So the first thing I always check is the navigation menu. Everything from the website needs to be in either the header or the footer navigation menu. So what you can see here is shop, contact us, and the policies. So for example, I don't see any specific collection pages right here. I don't see any track and trace pages like here. I don't see any about us page right here. So this is all missing information you need to implement to solve the misrepresentation error as well. That is super important to have all these elements already in the navigation menu right here. And when we scroll all the way down, we see that these policies are slightly better. So they're doing a good job by showing all the policies right here. And here in the footer, you can see that they're missing the company details. So here you need to implement the company name, the address of the registration, your company number, the email address you're available on, and a phone number if you have any, and the opening time from your customer service. So that's what they're totally missing right here. And that is super important. And your Merchant Center will not get approved if you don't have this. So the next step here is to review the homepage right here. Like what can we see that needs to be improved? This is all working properly as I can see. Here we have a bunch of different chairs, but we can see the collection, that seems fine. Here we can see the same chair over and over again. And I see that there are multiple buttons that are leading to the same direction. So this no more, this no more, and this no more are all leading to the same chair. So that's not really strong in the eyes of Merchant Center. You shouldn't be misrepresenting the same button. So as I would go, delete two of these and just leave one of them ahead here to guide the visitors to this page, for example. Besides that, I don't see any collections here as well. So I just see the collection here with 3 different chairs, but that's basically it. So I would go over and create a collection page right here and some bestsellers. So name this different. They also have a contact us right here. I would implement that in the contact page actually. And here we have a bunch of benefits of ordering from them. Free shipping in the USA with FedEx, secure checkout, call, and email support. Okay, that's interesting because they say call and email support, but I don't see any option to call right here. So that's also not the same information and basically like misrepresenting something. And easily returns 30 days. So we will check that later on in the refund policy. So let's go ahead and go to the product page. So when we click here, we probably end up in the product page. Here I already see a few things, right? So I don't like to have 2 buttons that guide to the same direction. So I would remove the buy now button and only direct people to the add to cart button right here. We can see that everything else is mentioned quite properly. They have some payment plan right here, what people can include. So we need to check that in the payment policies, how that works actually. And here we see 2 benefits of ordering from them. They have a shipping and return policy right here. So they mentioned 2 to 5 business days for the shipping And for the return days, it will be like 30 days that you can return the products. I see that they have a nice description here with text, so that's all fine. Okay, let's go to the most important page as well, the contact page. So here I can see that they use one of my templates that I mentioned in my framework here in the contact page. What they're missing actually here is like a contact field, so that's super important. And once again, I don't see the company details, registration number, or any address right here. And also, as we mentioned previously, I don't see the phone number to call. So they mentioned that they have phone number or available for a call, but I don't see it right here. So this contact page is definitely lacking some information. So we need to implement a contact field, address details, company details, and so on. So that's super important to mention in the contact page. Let's go ahead and go to the shipping policy. Here in the shipping policy, I see that they once again used a few of my templates to implement right here. So what is important to know in the shipping policy, you need to mention the transit days. So how long does it take for you to grab all products and basically send them to the customer? And you need to mention the shipping time. So how long does it take until the hands of the shipping company from the end customer, right? So I see that they have handling days 0 to 1 day, which is super good. And they have 2 to 4 days shipping time, which is also nice. Furthermore, you need to tell them what kind of carriers you're using, so what kind of companies are shipping the products. You need to mention what it costs for the delivery, right? So is it free delivery from you or free delivery after a certain amount or not free at all? These kind of things always need to be implemented in the shipping policy. So as of for now, I don't see the price for shipping. So that's also something we need to add right here. So later on, I will check the refund and return policy. So here in the refund policy, I see a few important things what they mention. The 30-day return window, which is super good. They have the email address where people can reach out if they want to return. So that's good. For the refund time, so from the moment they receive the package back from the customer, it takes approximately 5 days to get the money back for the client. So that's good to mention as well. They don't do any restocking fee, which is very important to mention, as Merchant Center is literally asking for this kind of information. So the moment you implement this on your website, you kind of match the information as you have in your Merchant Center as well. So that's what I could go over with. Here again, the company details are missing, just an email address as well. And I see that it's also not possible to select or click anything on this website. So that's one more important thing I need to mention. If the Google Merchant Center employee is going on your website and want to select, for example, your phone number or your email address to check it on another website, they are not able to do so. So that's not a really strong point and convenient for the employee as well. So I would remove that as well. So one more thing to check here is the track your order page. Is it actually working? So here I see all is good for this step. The FAQs, so mention the same time as return, shipping, refund policies and things like that in the policies and in the FAQ. So that's something you definitely need to implement and have matching information in the policy pages and in the FAQ. So here we see 0 to 1 day, 2 to 4 days, but they don't mention the cutoff times as previously mentioned. So 0 to 1 day is not mentioned as is just weekdays or it's weekend days, and in the previously shipping information they did so. So I would always take the same information from the policy pages and implement it in your frequently asked questions. So to save you time, I will not go over all in this kind of details. What I also don't see is any payment policies right here. So we just saw on the product page that they mention any payment terms right here, but I don't see any payment policy right here that implement this kind of information. So to go ahead and test the funnel, I will go back to the homepage right here. Click this button to end up on the collection page. One more time, we go to this nice chair and check in the cart if there is anything we need to mention right here. Suddenly they have much more products right here available here, which we didn't see in the first place on the website. So that's also interesting. So the homepage might need to be adjusted to display all the products what they have right here. So that's also something they definitely need to check. And also in the checkout here, we need to check if we can find any things that are important that we can see. Add any tip. I would suggest to delete that actually because never in the e-commerce space I saw this. They mentioned the policies right here, which is really good. Let me see the contact information here. One more time, not the full contact information. So I'd go over to the Shopify settings right here and go to policy pages. And here you can basically implement all the policy pages that are visible in your checkout process. So that's super important to have as well. Besides that, I don't see any other things that can cause misrepresentation error in this checkout page as well. So what we need to diagnose is also the settings in the Merchant Center. So when we are in the Merchant Center right here, it's more likely to go to the feed as well as a first step. And we need to implement and see what kind of products and how they are sending the products from Shopify to their Merchant Center, right? So here I basically see that there is just one product sent to the Merchant Center, whereas I saw at least 5 or 10 products on their website. So here is something also misrepresenting in the Merchant Center against what you can see on the website right here. So we definitely need to go ahead and change this integration. I will have another video about that, how you can do that step by step, or you can click the link in the description to download my Google Merchant Center checklist. And there I explain also things like this step by step, so you can go ahead and implement that for your website today as well. So basically I would integrate an app like Simproses or Multifeed on your Shopify website to let this go on autopilot and synchronize all the products you have in your Shopify environment to your Google Merchant Center and not do it manually by hand. And the reason for that is as soon as you change the description or the price, it will synchronize automatically in the Merchant Center compared to manual work, which is not really smart to do actually. So that's one thing I noticed in the Merchant Center already. And one thing we need to check is the shipping and return information here as well. So first we will go to the shipping information. We see that they have some standard shipping implemented. And here we can see that they implemented the transit time 2 to 4 days. Let's see how they implemented that. 0 to 1, 2 to 4. Okay, I just remembered that they did 2 to 5 days right there, Monday to Friday. So there's a slight difference in the Merchant Center times they mentioned right here compared to the website. So that would definitely need to be adjusted as well. And let's go over the return information. So for the return information, we see that it's verified. So that most likely means that Google Merchant Center agrees with this. So to do so, you can click on it and you can see all the information they already implemented in their account. So for the countries, they implemented United States as where they are selling. For the policy URL, they implemented the refund policy, which is great. They accept returns 30 days by mail, and everything is mentioned and verified already by Google. So that's great. So these are the things I basically already see from their Merchant Center. We also need to go to business information right here to check the business details. So here we suddenly see that they have an address, but they didn't mention it on the website. So that's basically a misrepresentation issue as well. They definitely need to mention the display name, the website name, and the address in full details as we see here. We also need to see the contact details right here are implemented correctly, which is great. So I suddenly see that the phone number is here, so that needs to be displayed on the website as well. We see the Instagram and the Facebook, as I didn't see that in detail on the website as well. So that definitely needs a checkup. And here on the website, we need to check if the website is claimed, which seems to be all good. So that's basically how I would go over a quick review for the Google Merchant Center to solve the misrepresentation error. And after you check your complete website and implemented all the information, you have basically two ways to solve this issue. You can either go in your Merchant Center account and request a review right here, or you can go to help.google.com and select the Merchant Center and fill out all information in the form to request a review from the Merchant Center team. And then they would go over your full website and most likely all the details that I explained right here to see if you follow all rules. So these are the most important things you can do today to fix your Merchant Center misrepresentation error. There is so much more that I implemented in my step-by-step Merchant Center framework. And there you find literally templates you can copy and paste and implement in your website to even make it more likely to unsuspend your Merchant Center and go live with Google Ads. But Even if you fix all the things I mentioned in this video, there is still a tiny chance that your merchant center will not get unsuspended. The reason for that is that every website is slightly different from each other. If you want to make sure that you fix your merchant center as fast as possible, I implement the link in the description where you can see all information and how I could potentially help you solve the misrepresentation error as fast as possible. And if you're not ready for that for whatever reason, I will also implement the 5 frequently asked questions for the merchant center I get all of the time, so you have the answers straight away. I see you on the winning side.